about the best marketing campaign ever. And, well, it may surprise you that there's more than one kind, because it depends on the kind of space we're talking about. Best for what? So if you look at the best marketing campaigns in general, what do they have in common? Right? They communicate very strong sense of values. It's a very strong message. They communicate something that the ultimate customer, wants and is impacted by in a positive way. It makes them desire to acquire the product or the service, and they are highly effective at making that communication. That is what they all have in common. Beyond that, they all have different flavors, and they all have different angles, tactics, strategies, approaches, methodologies, content types, layouts, formats, mediums, you name it. There's nothing. There are different distribution channels, etc. In general, what matters is the focus on high quality. High quality rules the day. High quality products yield high quality user experiences. Can you have very successful low quality products being marketed very successfully? Yes, of course. That happens all the time. What they do, however, in order to have successful marketing, is they leverage the quality of the product, even if it's low, and sync that up with the quality of the marketing messaging. So in many ways, you can actually have a higher quality experience with a lower quality product if the marketing message is high quality. And when I say high quality, I mean is relevant, pertinent, desirable, and impactful to the end user, the customer, the person, people, or groups that will ultimately buy this thing. And the way that you do that by matching the messaging that needs to carry, the message of the product to the people that need to hear it, is you can leverage the features of the product, even if they are considered lower quality than what could possibly be the product. And you leverage that low quality feature and demonstrate why actually it's better for the customer. How so? Well, McDonald's, for example, right? Some might argue they have low quality hamburgers, etc., etc. It's fast food, it's junk food, whatever you want to call it. Outside of the United States, you may not know this if you're in the United States, outside of the US, McDonald's fast food restaurants are considered premium fast food restaurants. And people pay a significant premium for their hamburgers. It is not uncommon for an individual to spend $10 or more at a McDonald's per meal outside of the United States. And for a family of four to spend $40 or $50 or $60 for a simple McDonald's lunch or dinner. That is exorbitant by US standards, relatively, where you can find much cheaper items on the menu and pay basically, very minimal costs for a meal for one person or a family, etc. So how do they leverage their quality and their marketing messaging to communicate its higher value overseas? So whether you know this or not, people in certain countries consider American-made products to be higher quality. Therefore, they consider them to have a higher value. And even if the products are locally sourced and locally made, because it's produced and sold by a brand that is American, even if it's locally owned as a local franchise in an overseas country, it has to follow certain standards of, guidelines, branding, presentation, marketing, sales, etc., production, delivery, you name it. And therefore, the perceived value of what in America would be considered a low quality fast food meal is perceived to be of much higher value overseas. And that's how, for example, McDonald's is able to charge, instead of $1 for a simple hamburger, they're able to charge like $4 or $5 for a simple hamburger, $10 for any kind of specialty burger. Even a Big Mac will go for $5, $6, $7. Whereas in the U.S. it'll usually be cheaper than that. That is an example of consumer products, consumer food products, leveraging what normally would be perceived as low quality features and mixing it with high quality marketing messaging that is impactful and has value and influences the end customer. You also have higher end products. It could be a video graphic, could be a video. It's a video game, right? A video game that is pixelated graphics versus smooth, hyper-realistic graphics. Why would anybody want to pay X amount of money to get access to a certain game with pixelated graphics when they can get for the same price or maybe even less a game with hyper-realistic graphics? And the answers can be found in, it's a feature, not a bug, right? It's an artistic style. The lower quality graphics represent a retro sort of style and look and feel. The gameplay might be done in a certain way that is nostalgic and remind people of of older games that they once played a long time ago. The functionality of the game might also have certain limitations and restrictions that remind people of older games. All that stuff. That's video game software. Those are lower quality features that are features, not bugs. Right? There are plenty of nostalgia type games that people want precisely because it reminds them of older games, or it gives them, if they've never played older games but they want to experience something similar to it, it gives them that feeling. There's plenty of music now, right? In the current cycle in 2023, where older sounds are making a comeback. Sounds from not just the 80s, but even from the 50s. There's a lot of pop songs that have been, coming out in the last decade or so from different artists that have had a 1950s style and early 1960s style kind of pre-rock and roll, either R&B or smooth rock or, romantic rock or whatever you want to call it. All these different smoother and slower types of music that are very different from the faster paced electronic beats that you hear from bands that use a lot of speed drums and electronic drums and synthesizers, etc. So the point is, you can always mix lower quality perceived features and present them in a way that's higher quality if your marketing messaging is correct. And you can do the same obviously with higher quality features and present them as higher quality and higher value, because of course people love new and shiny things. So at the outset I mentioned what are the things that make the very best campaigns for marketing, the very best marketing campaigns. I mentioned what those ingredients are, and I stand by it, because if you look at marketing over the decades and the centuries since marketing's been a thing, really, you will find that those are the key ingredients of making the very best marketing campaigns, regardless of the product or service. I stand by that. If you think I'm wrong, post a comment, share your ideas, share this with people if you want, whatever you have. All right, that's it for now. Ciao.